En el vasto mundo del arte existe una creadora cuya visión trasciende fronteras y desafía la categorización tradicional. Conozcan a Giovanna Di Zurita, una artista visionaria cuya pasión innata por la expresión artística la ha llevado a forjar un camino único en el mundo del arte. Desde temprana edad, Gio Di Zurita ha cultivado una curiosidad innata y una pasión insaciable por la expresión artística, lo que la ha llevado a crear un nicho único en el mundo del arte. Su estilo distintivo y sus conceptos provocativos cautivan audiencias de todo el mundo. Inspirada por la danza de la luz y la sombra, los diseños intrincados de la naturaleza y las complejidades de la experiencia humana, las creaciones de Di Zurita son un testimonio de su profunda conexión con el mundo que la rodea. Su arte es una síntesis de diversos medios, fusionando acrílicos, óleos y técnicas mixtas para construir obras que resuenan con emoción cruda y técnica refinada. Una exploradora genuina del reino creativo, su portafolio abarca una variedad diversa de temas y sujetos, desde composiciones abstractas que evocan la introspección hasta paisajes vívidos que transportan a los espectadores a reinos de otro mundo. Su obra es un viaje a través del espectro de las emociones humanas y los misterios de la existencia. El proceso artístico de Giovanna Di Zurita es un baile entre la espontaneidad y la meticulosa artesanía. Cada pincelada es un acto intencional, guiado por un flujo intuitivo que permite que sus creaciones evolucionen de manera orgánica. El resultado es una colección que desafía la convención, invitando a los espectadores a explorar las capas de significado incrustadas en el lienzo. En un mundo que anhela autenticidad e innovación, Giovanna Di Zurita se erige como una verdadera pionera artística, desafiando valientemente los límites de lo que el arte puede ser. Su obra nos invita a un viaje de imaginación y exploración, donde el arte no solo se observa, sino que se siente en lo más profundo de nuestras almas. Bienvenida, Gio Di Zurita.
So, Gio Di Zurita, thank you very much for taking the time to have a conversation with us.
The pleasure is all mine, having you guys here.
Awesome. You know, we're here in your studio, and just before we got started, you were talking about how you are in this discovery of yourself.
Yes.
Would you describe yourself some sort of a blank canvas every day where you just can paint something?
Actually,
totally
I
new?
think I am a canvas that is being repainted, and it's super full of texture and rough and layers. The blank canvas was me being born, and the rest is repainting it every day. Layers and layers of what it was and what is to come.
Now, but when you begin a painting, do you have sort of the end in mind, or you just go out depending how you feel?
So it depends. When I am doing a painting that comes out of me naturally, like my ideas, my message, is one thing. And then I do the custom art. Custom art is diving into my customer's mind and heart and bringing that to life. When it's my own creations, it's basically I am more of a storyteller. So I dive into my emotions, connect to my soul and my life, my world, what's happening around me, and then whatever emotions I'm feeling, I'm trying to translate visually and then into words, to put it into words to bring the message to people.
So are you just flowing? Because you're touching on something so critical that is reflected in your painting, but it also, in my opinion, has a lot to do with results that we have in life.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Things come at us every day.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these things we cannot control. Therefore, they cause certain emotions, and based on how we feel is how we act.
Yes.
So in your paintings, there are things coming your way all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts,
yes.
life things. What you're saying is that alters the outcome, the final outcome of your piece.
Yes. Not only that, so that's why I'm saying it's like a connection of several things.
Yes.
And my surroundings that day, my creativity that day, my emotions that day. So if I start a painting today and I finish it a month from now, it's gonna have an impact every time I touch the brush. Mm-hmm. Because I don't paint just because I know what I need to do. Oh, this is the technical thing to do. No, I paint emotions and energy. That's how I see it. Mm. And so the canvas itself is reflecting to me what it needs. And that day I add something and then I say, today I'm done. Like you are telling me it's done because I am not feeling it. And it's not a matter of, oh, I'm not creative today. I'm just gonna stop working, because when you do it full time, you still gotta stick to your hours and you know your deadlines. So it's interesting, and that's why I say it's different for custom art, which I have to push the envelope in a different direction, where it's more of a deadline, what they want, what they need, and then some of them are like, but then do it on your own style. And then I'm like, okay, for that, it's gonna take longer than you just telling me, paint my dog in this style, you know? But when you say, paint my story, this is my story, through symbols, through emotions, through colors, through all of this translated, then it becomes my own, you know? And then that takes a different direction.
Very cool. So have you found yourself going through, and this is where the thought's coming from.
Yes.
It's earlier before the cameras were rolling, you're saying, look, I'm in this new sort of discovery of myself, right? Intentionally.
Yes.
So do you find yourself on a daily basis just feeling a certain way, and you, through the power of modifying the energy or the feeling, be able to paint differently because you are intentionally changing that state of
Yes.
feeling that we're saying.
So basically, right now my mantra of every day is saying, I am lost, but in the right direction. So the feeling of being lost comes from not knowing and accepting, right? You're walking in a forest, you don't know where you're going, but at least there's something hinting you, oh, this way, a star, the wind, whatever. And that's the feeling, like the unknown is very uncomfortable, and I'm learning to be comfortable in being uncomfortable. And so it's a discovery phase for me because it feels bad and then it feels good. And then I'm like, why am I putting a label good or bad? It's what it is, right? Right now I'm in a mood of being laughing and I have energy, and that's what I'm painting and translating, and tomorrow or an hour later I'm crying. And I'm like, why am I crying? And I'm just letting myself be without judging. So therefore there's like a cascade of emotions that have been hiding there for me. And because I am a public figure and I have my own business, I'm always also trying to think, what's the correct thing to do in these moments when emotionally I'm messy? But it's beautiful because I'm finding myself, so that eventually I can be more genuine and give more to my community through my work, because I believe I don't paint to create beautiful things and sell and make money out of it only, right? That's part of it.
Yes.
But it's not the main goal. The main goal is to live a life where I can find myself, be genuine, translate things that I am feeling, to bring good and better and faith to the world. That's how I see it. And to be able to live doing what I love, that's what I love. To be able to be happy, be sad, be me, and then with whatever that means, make money, right? Okay. So right now, that's kind of like the very interesting phase of my life, where I'm finally not here to just be liked and being approved of. I am here to live and figure out what all the phases or all the layers of my canvas, my own life, mean. And why am I here really? Like, what am I trying to do with this? Mm-hmm.
Do you find yourself putting yourself in uncomfortable situations? And I rescue that from what you're saying is you've learned to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations.
Yes.
You own it. Most people have a very difficult time just to try to avoid a new challenge because they don't want to get in uncomfortable situations, right? And you have a new project. That's, if you ask me, that's a pretty uncomfortable situation or stressful. You have this certain, especially when you're expected to perform, right?
Exactly.
You're an international artist. Your art is purchased and is hanged in so many different places around the world. How much pressure do you feel on a daily basis to perform and improve?
I think that's what sometimes makes me sad, is the pressure becomes my gasoline. You know, like I feel pressure to be good, to be my best, to give energy, to sell, to perform, to do great and big things according to society and the game of the art world.
Right.
when sometimes by doing what I'm doing, which means just letting myself be, one day breathing, meditating, reading, I am doing more important things by doing nothing according to, like, I'm not winning an award, but I am finally doing something truly important to me. And that is going to translate eventually in my work. And also, like, in this world, it's so hard to truly be you, because that's not what the world is saying. They say, be yourself, but that's not what they want. They want the self they see or want to see in you. And therefore, you become a mirror of reflecting what they want. And especially when you want to make a living out of being a performer or an artist, you have to think about that. And then the game is, how can I win the game without losing myself in it? Because what's the point of winning a game when you lost yourself?
Yeah, no point.
There's an award, but the artist is dead inside.
Yeah, exactly. Most people get inspired by other people, you know. So as I getting the opportunity to meet all kinds of different people in the business world, in the art world, they always had someone that they looked up to for what they're doing today. It's like, oh, I want to be a radio, personality. I want to be a singer. Tell us how you came about. What inspired you? What was that spark that ignited this great fire here?
It's many things. There's no one thing that sparked, because as a kid, I remember my grandpa being like, framing my work, and this is kindergarten, like ugly things kids do. I was not like a, oh my God, like a Picasso. Picasso was great as a kid. He painted things that are unbelievable, realistic as a kid. I wasn't like that. I just created, and it felt good to me, but it wasn't good. It wasn't like, oh, a special kid, What took me very deep in diving into the art, I didn't know, but was being angry and having anger issues, and trying to figure out a way of removing all those emotions in a healthy way, instead of hitting my brothers or hitting a teacher, which I did. Like, I had that idea of losing yourself in anger and not being able to see what you're doing. No, I'm talking about as a kid.
Sure.
But it's still,
this is what
it hit me.
I would do 6, 7, 8 years old.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it hit me so much that one day one of my brothers, I hit him, and he said to me, "You're becoming very violent." And I said, "Oh my God, me? What are you talking about? Like, you provoked me, right?" Like, there was like a moment where something switched in me, and I was like, that's how he sees me. He sees this thing that I'm doing, which I'm thinking, you hit me first, I hit you back. Like, what's the problem? And now I'm the violent one. But it became like, oh my God, it is eye-opening when somebody says it to you, somebody you love, and you finally open the eyes, and you're not just blinded by anger and be like, I am becoming, like, I lose myself when I'm angry. I didn't notice. And so I started painting really ugly paintings, and in the paintings I would like use symbols that to me I knew what they meant, and the paintings were ugly. They were like very, very thin, long hearts that were hanging from trees with eyes popping out, and every single thing, the eyes, the thickness of the heart, the being hanged to the tree, had symbols. And I had them in a diary where, like, what it meant. And if you saw it, you could have even thought suicidal, and it wasn't. It was more like, my heart is empty. It's dying. It's hungry for love, and I cannot explain to anybody how I feel, so I paint, and it's hanging from a tree because that's how I feel, suffocated, right? And the tree is my family, which gives life to everything, all this beautiful foliage or the leaves, yet I am not part of the tree. I am hanging here. Like, this is how I felt. And my family, my mom and dad are very loving, but I couldn't understand the dynamic for when I started growing up. And so I felt very, like, so much like an outsider. So
You
I
felt like an
painted.
outsider in the house.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, obviously it became a therapy, but not by outside recommendation. This is just you wanting to have some way of expressing what you're feeling.
Without hurting anybody or myself, yeah.
And when did you get that epiphany? Obviously, that oh my God, it's sort of like the painting becomes a mirror. You then get to see how you're feeling.
So
how did you transform that? Like,
I didn't notice until I felt so out of control in my life, because I was a kid that would always question everything. If for instance, my dad said, "Go to your room, you're grounded," I'll be like, "Why?" I will go to my room and I'll stay there grounded, but why? Explain, what did I do? I stay so, why? Because I'm your dad.
oh,
Explain to me, what
we
does
can
that
all
have
relate
to
to
do?
that.
So
Like-
I was very rebel, and so I will go to my room, and this is a funny thing, I will do what he said. Stay in your bed, do not get out of your bed, blah, blah, whatever. Like, even though he couldn't see me, I will go there and be like, no, I will stay here. Even if you ask me to go back and have dinner, I won't have dinner, I'll stay here. You know, like very
Yeah.
bitter. But as I was staying there, feeling out of control, and like things weren't fair, even though this is just like every kid or person can relate to this. But I will draw my dad in a sheet of paper, and I will put him in a room, and like in a prison, and all of us like outside having fun. And it was like stick figures, right? But it was me like grounding him, you know, like, now you stay in your room. And I would talk to the painting, and I would be like so angry. But it was therapeutic, because after that I will feel even bad, and I will rip the page away, and I will be like, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have done that. And it's like funny, because it was nothing. But in me, I said what I needed to say. I removed my anger, and I did something that was bad. Like, I shouldn't have put my dad in a square room away from his family and stuff like that, right? But I did it, and then I will feel better. So then I will rip it apart, throw it in the trash, and forget about it, and then something else will happen, and I will paint again, because I just knew it felt better after. So I never knew about therapy then. I never knew about a healthy way to remove your anger. Like, I didn't translate it like that. It's now that I am like, wow, I did that naturally. Didn't know about it, but it felt good to me. And that's why, if you see paintings of my past, they were not very pretty. It's until I started reading and learning about the law of attraction, or the universe and the energy, and how to make things happen for you by working them, that I started saying, I'm gonna start painting what I want to attract, not what I'm feeling. So then it started improving my mood. And eventually, when I met Carlos, my business partner, he saw something in my art that was very interesting to him, and he was like, you're good, you can make a living. And he's totally business person. So he was like, I'll help you with that part. You be you and create and all of that. And we started the business. Now it's been 11, 12 years ago.
that's actually very profound. Which leads me to two questions as we wrap up. So, number one, you say, hey, listen, I started to paint what I wanted to attract. You know, I've heard many, many times from people that are living their dream or on their way there, is that they first had to become that person, right, to attract the situation. So through your painting is you actually get to that transformation, and that's how you attracted, I'm assuming, that different paintings, different people in your life, different situations, right, as you're going through that transformation.
Yes, I think, because I also teach, what I say to my students is that I believe we paint the way we live. So painting shows you a lot. So if you are very impatient in your life and you want to just speed through the process in life in general, like driving, I want to go through this traffic, I want to get to the place, or you're in a house party and you wish you were in your bed, you just want to rush through everything, that's how you're going to paint. And painting is going to show you that's not the way. You cannot skip this process.
Oh, wow.
So it shows you in life you cannot skip this process. You are here now, be present. If in painting you're not present, you don't know what you're doing, because I hear a lot, and I get lost too, but get lost with intention. What does that mean? Enjoy the process, but have an intention, have a goal, have the next step. Like you can paint and suddenly something's gonna be very beautiful, but that's luck, which exists. You're a lucky person, that painting turned out beautiful and you did nothing. Or you can say, I am going to enjoy the process, but I have in mind that I want this painting to make this feeling translate to a person that sees it. Mm-hmm. Or when you paint something that is more like technical, you gotta know the rules, right?
Yes.
And then do it in your own way and enjoy the process. So I learned through painting that what I'm doing right or wrong, or when I need to slow down, because I paint how I'm living, and depending on my mood is how I tend to move around life. And now it's like, no, my mood is not going to dictate my day. I'm gonna be intentional. Like, I am not feeling it today, but I am going to drive safely. I'm gonna pay attention even though I feel distracted. I do that in painting too. Okay, I'm not feeling it, but I am here and I'm gonna paint for an hour. I'm gonna give my best intention to finish this piece or part of it, and I'm gonna do it right.
It all goes back to emotions.
Yeah.
I think I skipped this question, and I should have begun with it, but it's fine, because you either made peace with whatever was making you so angry as a little girl. Did you ever figure that out, or you just somehow, because unless you kind of identified why were you so angry, was that just your DNA, and you say, well, that's how I was born, or you actually identified reasons as to what was making you so angry at that moment, and you made peace with it, and then that's when you actually were able to be reborn?
Well, the thing is that I am 30 years old and I'm still figuring that out. Like, the anger comes obviously from childhood and obviously from experiencing violence in some way. But the reason why I was so angry since I was very young, I think comes from the not knowing my boundaries, and from feeling like people just move me around without considering
like you had no control.
Like I had no control, and that made me angry. So, but also that's life, right? So I was not explained that's how life is sometimes, and sometimes you have control and sometimes you don't. But if you know your boundaries, the things you have control on will either stop or continue, right? Whatever situation, with people, with life, emotions in general. So I just kind of moved around trying to figure out, very lost. And today I'm trying to pay attention to why everything I feel is happening. And trying to fix those things and make peace with my past and make peace with the people that have contributed to that anger. And also know that those people, most of them, did what they could given the circumstances of their lives, and that they were also in pain. And that allows me to feel more like love and respect and forgive. And forgiveness allows me to be less angry.
Okay. Final thing, because I know that in order to stay motivated, right, you always are having a vision of the future. And you really diving deep into the law of attraction. What are you working on? What are you envisioning here towards the future? What are you working on? What's your next project?
So I'm going to answer this a little bit differently, because for the first time in my life, I am not thinking 5 years from now, where do you want to go? Where do you want to exhibit? Right now, for the first time in my career, I'm not thinking in material visuals of where I'll be in my career. I am so focused in me, in finding the balance in myself, so that then I can even live that long to be a human being that is contributing to other people's lives. How that's gonna happen, I don't know, but I know that I will make money doing what I love, which is to help, to serve, and also to have a good quality life. Like I am not gonna say I am so humble that I don't need anything. No, I am not humble in that way, but I am humble enough to say I am the brush, God is the artist, and I am here to serve. Guide me. You guide me where I'm going, because I don't know. And for the first time, I really am leaving it up to you, universe, to say this is where you need to go. Because I am open, truly open, to be guided. Instead of saying, I want to be an artist that paints and makes a living doing this, and I want to exhibit in this museum, and I am going to be selling this much. That's gonna come naturally if I really find what I'm here to do. So.
Let me end with this, because obviously you didn't get to where you are right now without the way of thinking that you have, and without that controlling of the emotions, understanding those emotions. So I want to thank you. There was a lot of golden nuggets in this interview. I think we'll probably get an opportunity to do a second one.
Yes.
But thank you so much for sharing all that.
It's my pleasure.
Giovanna. If you want to follow Gio, make sure that you do. We're going to leave her, I guess, handles.
Yes,
for you
the
to follow her.
website, the Instagram, everything. You can
Yes.
find me on TikTok too.
Absolutely.
I'm always posting a little bit of the art. I like to now laugh about, now that I work with my mental health and things like that, I like to use TikTok as a way of, every time I'm taking a break from painting, I do a TikTok or an Instagram post and stuff.
Yeah.
And I like to make things that make me laugh, either if I'm laughing at myself for something silly that happened, or like an audio, music, something. I make it, and it just makes life so much lighter, because it's better to see life like a comedy, maybe a dark comedy, rather than feeling like a victim.
Thank you again. There you have it. Make sure you share with everybody that you know. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.